After years of trying every single fat diet out there, exercising 4 times a week, and restricting her calorie intake, Robin hit a wall.
I used to be so miserable because I was trying really hard to lose weight and I was aiming for like a 500 calorie a day deficit. And my plan was to do that, for 3 months every day or something. But I got so hungry that I would just be ready to jump out of my skin. I was suffering from trying to do it that way.
And on a typical day,
I would aim for that 1200 and I would get to about 4 o'clock in the afternoon. And then somewhere between 4 p.m. and 7 p.m., I'd go stuff my face because I was so hungry.
Just as she thought things could not get worse, menopause hit. This condition makes it more difficult for women to deal with fat loss because of fatigue and stress brought on by changes in estrogen and serotonin, which can make them crave unhealthy, quick fixes like refined carbs and sugar. This made losing belly fat a living hell. At this rate, she thought she was going to suffer forever. She started to have doubts, such as,
I really thought that I was personally cursed. Life is so unfair. It works for everybody, but not me. I can just look at food and I'll go away for the weekend and gain 10 pounds. I was convinced that there was something tremendously broken that was just not completely unfixable.
A few years later, in her 60s, Robin lost 11% body fat and hit her lowest weight in 3.5 years by destroying 3 things holding her back from enjoying an active, unrestricted, powerful, and healthy life. But how did this happen? To understand what finally worked, you must first understand what did not work for her and why. While looking for solutions to manage her increasing weight, she found the T-Factor diet, a diet that claims to help people lose weight safely and quickly without cutting calories or even counting them. The T in the diet stands for the thermic effect of food. In essence, this is a low-fat diet that advocates for eating foods with less than 30% fat. While this helped her lose weight initially, she found herself craving more food and was often hungry. And when she found herself eating more than she planned,
my brain might be like, you're too fat, you gotta stop eating.
It quickly became apparent that this approach wasn't sustainable for her. It seems like the more effort and willpower she put into dieting, the further she found herself from her weight loss goal. After this came Weight Watchers, but that still felt restrictive and led her to the same dead end. As a final Hail Mary, Robin decided the only option left is to rely on tech to hack her body. She found Lumen, a tube-shaped breath analyzer claiming to improve your metabolic flexibility, including your body's ability to switch between carbs and fats as needed. And though it helped her lose some weight,
the Lumen just was a pain, such a pain in the butt. It was so annoying. I had to blow it. I could never get it on the first try.
Using Lumen was wearing on Robin. As a result, she started searching YouTube for inspiration and encouragement she could use to keep going. Then one day,
and I scrolled down, and I saw Richard talking about, hey, calories in, calories out. It doesn't matter what percentage of fat is burning versus carbohydrates. It matters overall how many calories you're using up. Don't stress out about, this gimmicky thing.
This dialogue made Robin question her assumptions about her body and what she had been doing up until now. She had been exhausting herself by adhering to a strict set of dietary rules because she thought she was broken. But what if it could be easier? What if we didn't just assume she was broken, but instead ran some experiments and analyzed some data to see what was really going on? Guess what happened next? She lost 10 pounds in 8 weeks, and that snowballed into losing 20 pounds in 5 months. On paper, this may not appear to be a significant weight loss, but when we separate her weight loss into lean mass and fat loss, we discovered that she lost about 28 pounds of fat mass and gained nearly 8 pounds of lean mass. So what did she do differently from before? First, she addressed her distorted mindset around getting in shape.
Number one, I had a completely distorted idea about what it takes to create change in a person's life. I thought it was just a matter of willpower, and I knew my willpower was going to run out sooner or later, so I knew I had to do something drastic and hurry up and get to my goal before my willpower ran out. So I had a completely distorted view of how to get any change accomplished.
While this approach helped her in many aspects of her personal life, she thought that using the same approach would be ideal for losing fat. And that was one of her biggest mistakes holding her back. This time instead, she started with what she was naturally inclined to do and made small adjustments to her habits one at a time instead of trying to find the perfect plan first, then bending over backward to meet it. We made it as easy as possible to get started first. So we had her on a very mild calorie deficit. Despite it being small, this deficit was still big enough for her to see some progress, but small enough that it was not too far from how her body was used to eating. Additionally, we removed all food restrictions while encouraging her to keep up her healthy eating habits by generally choosing foods that made her feel good physically and mentally. And while we encouraged her to eat more whole foods and high protein foods, no food groups had special scores to track, meaning nothing was off limits. Second, she got crystal clear on which stats actually mattered and which stats were just distractions.
But the second one was a scale orientation instead of a leanness orientation. And, to this day, my husband will say, "Oh, I got COVID and I lost 5 pounds." And I said, "Well, that's nice, but I'm interested in getting more lean because I know that that's water. It will be back next week."
Weight loss refers to a decline in your overall body weight brought on by the loss of fat, water, muscle, or glycogen. It can be so many things. In comparison, the term fat loss refers to weight loss from solely fat. This is a more focused and healthy objective to aim for rather than weight loss exclusively. That's why we had her track not just her weight, but also other measurements such as her waist, hip, neck, body fat percentage, fat mass, lean mass, target calories, actual calories consumed, and many more stats that were crucial for her transformation. These measurements motivated her to keep going because she could track losing inches in different parts of her body, even when her weight was not going down for weeks due to postmenopause. So even though on paper, she only lost 20 pounds in the first 5 months, she actually added lean mass and lost way more than 20 pounds of fat. Had she not tracked both her fat mass and lean mass metrics, she would never have known this. These 2 changes alone made a great difference in Robin's success, but there was one more thing Robin needed to address. Can you guess what it is?
The third was I really thought that I was personally cursed. I had this, I kept waiting for you guys to tell me what was wrong with me. I was looking for the cause that life is so unfair. It works for everybody, but not me. I can just look at food and I'll go away for the weekend and gain 10 pounds, A very, whatever that thing is, I was convinced that there was something tremendously broken that was just never completely unfixable.
It's her personal assumptions about her body. Many people, especially postmenopausal women, feel the same way. But what does research have to say? While studies show insufficient estrogen levels after menopause may prevent women from efficiently burning fat for fuel, in a study of middle-aged women, researchers found that neither menopausal status nor blood estrogen levels predicted fat burning rates during rest or exercise. This simply means that women could still burn fat even after menopause. Thanks to numerous scientific studies like these, Robin could let go of her unfounded belief that she was cursed with being fat because of her age and postmenopausal condition. Every time Robin doubted herself if she could reach her end goal, she reminded herself that her body wasn't broken. And that made her confident, knowing what her body was capable of doing. Fast forward 1 year after joining the Badass Body Boss program, she has lost 11% body fat and got to the leanest she's been in 3.5 years, all while in her 60s. While you can argue that there are studies indicating an increased risk of some health conditions, such as cardiovascular heart disease, osteoporosis, urinary tract infections, and undesired weight gain, which makes any conscious effort to lose fat difficult as hell, Robin's story illustrates that women over 50 or with postmenopause still have a great fighting chance to get in the best shape of their lives.
What you have is a perfect reflection of your processes. If I have an extra 30 pounds of body fat on me, it's a perfect reflection from my practices, from what I'm doing. And I can't go from having that set of practices to the set of practices that I have now in one giant leap. It's just not going to work. So instead of going from what it takes to be me plus 30 pounds of body fat versus me now and do all those things all at once, let's just do something really small to the point where it becomes automatic, it feels natural, and it's not like this big stress of trying to do that thing.
But before you follow precisely what Robin did, you need to consider that even identical twins who appear to be a photocopy of each other have different inclinations. So your ideal process to get lean will probably look different. At this point, you have 2 options. One, if you want a tried and tested proven system that teaches you how to identify your own bottlenecks, whether those are tactical or psychological, then check out the free sneak peek into my Badass Body Boss program in the comments and descriptions below. Or if you want to do it yourself, then you don't want to ignore this video where we show you how 3 of our students tracked and analyzed their data so they could identify their bottlenecks to success. I go behind the scenes to show you precisely what they tracked. And disclaimer, it's not all just food and workouts. So you definitely want to check out this video next. And always remember, you can do it.